Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. We're gonna do an update on ADA, Cardano. In the past few weeks, Cardano has done a breakout and has managed to get into a revenge rally target, hit that, and is being rejected so far. On the daily time frame, we're starting to see a breakdown, so we are gonna have a closer look at that, liquidation levels, areas of support that we need to defend, and we look into some news as well. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell to get notified every time I put out one of these videos. If you want to join my trading competition, there is a link in the description. This one is hosted by 2bit. There is $3 million at stake. There's 27 days to register. All you have to do is find the top link in the description and hit register now. By doing so, you are part of my team and you can win not just the prize in USDT, but also potentially win an iPhone 16 or a Nintendo Switch. So let's start with the weekly time frame. There's been lots of developments and I haven't done as frequent as I wanted an update on Cardano. We were speculating in here after this breakout that started on the 30th of June that we were gonna face some resistance at 47. We didn't get any resistance at that point. Instead of that, in just a single week, we moved from RSI 44 into RSI 52. That was phenomenal. At that point, we started speculating, well, okay, maybe we're gonna hit 57 and find the resistance there. Actually, to be more accurate, we call for 58, and you can see that we have been perfectly hitting that level of resistance so far on the weekly. So far, we got a pivot down in there. The performance has been phenomenal, so getting some sort of pullback in here makes sense, even if we are aiming for that 86 at the top, so we get a third wave into the top of the range. I will say a healthy pullback at the moment is anywhere here in the middle. A 50% retracement is fine into RSIs of 50. But from the point of view of the price action, that's where we need to draw the line, because we have produced a double bottom in here on the weekly, and it's not a small one. It's actually, this one expands from 0.80 to 0.51, so 30 cents, and the breakout has been confirmed on the 14th of July that week. Since then, we did 1 week of a healthy retest there with that indecision candle, and this week we are attempting to break back below the previous range. That's something that we don't want to see if we want short-term upside. If we want the double bottom to play out straight away, we want to defend that 80 cents that was the highs of 11th of March. It was resistance in this area, support as well, resistance in there. So let's defend that 80 cents, but if that doesn't happen this week for any reason, we can see that the most traded area around the lows of 80 cents is 73 cents, followed by around 60 cents. Of course, 60 cents will be kind of a disaster after all this move up. Let's say we move up 83, 84%, and getting into here, that is a retracement of 38%. I would prefer not to have to go to the lows and kind of defend 73 at this time. That will keep things intact, in my opinion. The 80 cents is the most bullish one, but 73 is still something that we can tolerate pretty well. After all, this is ADA, and look at the volatility. In a single week, you move 100% up, and then in the same move in the next week, we move 40% down. You get these kind of things in this asset. The structure, looking from the big picture, you can see it's a healthy higher high structure with higher lows so far. So we should have some chances of exiting from $1.2 at some point if we defend those levels. If we take the lows of 50 cents, the extension of 1 is at 160, the golden pocket is at 2.28. That is still not a new all-time high. For that, we need to do an extension of 3 at this point, and we are running out of time. So I will use this structure to keep me level-headed. I am holding ADA a decent amount, so I am looking for these levels of 1.5. Of course, if we get an exponential move, a parabolic move that we continue to defend, then I'm gonna trail it as high as I can get. But at 1.5, definitely I'm gonna get a little bit itchy to take some profits. Looking at longs versus shorts, we are not very overheated. After all, in February we reached levels of 86 and now we are at 49, so there's plenty of room to go up. The area of value is 32, not very far low, just around 17 points lower. But at this stage in the market, we should be looking for the longs to get more and more greedy rather than getting a puke into 32 at this point. Socials are picking up at the moment, not at the lows, actually at the highs of the volume Bollinger Band, but not yet reaching the highs of 4%. We are now at 2.3. When it comes to liquidation levels and the daily time frame, we can see that we're leaving on the table that 95 cents followed by the $1. Those are the most immediate liquidations on the top end, but we have done pretty great with this move, because if we consider these highs of 117 and the lows of 50 cents, the golden pocket has been reached and we have managed to put daily closes around the 90 cents. So far it's a rejection with an engulfing red candle back into 76 seconds. But we have done very great here on the resistance. Notice that the white line has been rearranged. Before I had it with the wick, but now I'm connecting the bodies because I feel like that is making more sense now since we also hit that level by the dollar. The RSI daily now is a little bit of a disappointment because it's putting a breakdown, very shallow breakdown, not a big deal, but that together with the breakout that now the breakout is kind of faking out and also losing the healthy support. So the first line of defense on the daily has been broken thanks to this red candle there. And that could bring a little bit of indecision sideways or a little bit of downside. And that's why I'm looking for those levels of 73 cents to see what happens at that point. If we focus on liquidity at close proximity, we have some buckets at 74, that is healthy retest. Then we start getting into the gray area at 65 cents followed by 60. Let's go into liquidation heat map on CoinGlass, and what do we see here in terms of liquidation levels? Definitely the 53 is the largest one, but we don't want to go there. On the top end, we have some liquidation levels at 91. In terms of on-chain data, we can see that the taker sell dominant is currently a player. That means that on spot, people are more lean towards dumping ADA rather than buying it and FOMOing into the move. So there has been a shift, and this is not only applying to ADA. Yesterday I did the video for Ethereum and Solana. Even if your preferred coin was ADA or another coin, always watch the other videos. There is a lot of alpha in comparing coins against the other ones, and you can see that across the board we are getting a taker sell at the moment, and that is already being perceived in the market. And the fact that is spot is a little bit worrying, because that means that people are not believing that much in the altcoin season and dumping maybe many of them at a loss as well. Let's do a wrap up on ADA. I will say we have achieved a lot in here. We got into the revenge rally very easily in just 2 weeks. I think ADA now is cooling down on the weekly. The move down of the momentum here is not a big deal. If we got into 50s RSI, still not a big deal for what we have achieved. That can still expand and break the resistance eventually, or even get another revenge rally into 61, 62. That could be just good enough to get us out in the price action towards the area of $1. I will say one step at the time, because we are approaching the area of August and September, where we, by seasonality, we get a bit of a shake in the mood, some bearishness that could last maybe 1 or 2 weeks. That's just purely based on past performance. It's not guaranteed, but if it happens again, just like it happens in every topping year in that timing, just don't be surprised. Kind of prepare psychologically if it eventually happens. Thanks so much for watching the video. Remember to hit the like and write comments on all my videos. That really helps the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.